when I finally became a nurse, it felt right.
It's National Nurse Appreciation Week, and tonight we honor the men and women who are beside us during our happiest, saddest, and sometimes scariest times.
It's challenging, it's difficult, it's not easy, but we need you.
That need is not going away, from the challenges nurses are facing today to the new programs aimed at getting more students in scrubs.
If you are thinking about going into a career of nursing, you have to be passionate, you have to be adaptable, and willing to learn new skills every day.
Tonight, we want to highlight the hard work nurses do every day. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Front Row, where we are going to honor our nurses for National Nurse Appreciation Week. I'm Monica Robbins. Now, traditionally, this week ends on May 12th, which is the birthday of the founder of modern nursing, Florence Nightingale. She was born on this date in 1820. So nursing has come a long way since then, and in the next half hour, we're going to take a look at that and bring you stories of the men and women on the front lines of patient care. Nursing is the nation's largest healthcare profession, with nearly 4.2 million registered nurses, RNs nationwide, and of all the licensed RNs, 84.1% are employed in nursing. The federal government projects that more than 203,000 new registered nurse positions will be created each year from 2021 to 2031, with more than 3 times as many RNs in the United States as physicians. Michelle Brownlee vividly remembers the chaotic pandemic surges, changing in and out of hot, uncomfortable COVID gear, dealing with double the patient load and limited support staff. For her and thousands of other frontline COVID nurses, the pandemic was physically and mentally devastating. Melinda Lagatos was nurse manager on one of 3 COVID floors at UH Parma Medical Center.
We normally would see about 1 to 2 deaths a year on our floor as normal aging process and end of life. With COVID, within the last 2 years, we've seen more than 150 on this floor alone.
Visitors barred from seeing loved ones, so nurses became their only link.
And things that they teach you, they tell you in nursing school, oh, you can't get personal, you can't exchange this. Right. But again, they don't teach you how to navigate a pandemic. Right. And when you're the only source of comfort and the only link between a family and a loved one at home, you have to.
It was a lot of emotional stress on the staff. I have been there for the staff. We supported them with providing them emotional support through our employee assistance program through UH.
Which has been pivotal in us recovering from what we've dealt with.
The nursing shortage began long before the pandemic. COVID made the shortage grow larger as 1 in 5 healthcare workers left their careers, and reasons are many. One study found between 17 and 30% of new nurses leave within the first year of work, and up to 56% leave within the second year. Surveys showed nurses cite burnout and high-stress work environments as main reasons for leaving, followed by compensation, benefits, and the rise in violence against healthcare workers. Also, many nurses are near retirement age. Michelle thought about leaving, but didn't, thanks in part to supervisors like Melinda.
This is my 30th year in nursing, and this is my career. And as a manager for 15 years, I think that the staff that I have on this floor is exceptional. Just remembering that, whatever came at them, they took, and they're working for the care and compassion of the patient.
And the good news with that is that the pandemic highlighted a lot of those issues. But did you know the history of male nurses in this country began on the battlefields of the Civil War? But when the Army Nurse Corps was established in 1901, nursing became exclusively female. And that's how it remained for 50 years until the ANC allowed the first male nurse into its ranks in 1955. Now, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 13% of registered nurses are men. And there's a push to get more men into the profession. But some say gender stereotypes may be why many don't consider a career in nursing. For one man, his own health crisis is what pushed him into the field. Dalton Noakes is about to finish school and become a registered nurse. His reason wasn't really a calling, but a profound encounter. While studying business freshman year, he noticed a lump on his neck, went to student health, and met a nurse practitioner.
She ended up sending me to the ER, and then when I got to the ER, they did scans and ran tests, and then that's when I found out it was Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I had to go on a year's medical leave for chemotherapy and radiation.
Days later, the nurse practitioner reached out.
The fact that she cared enough and had the presence of mind to follow up with me afterwards and to be like, hey, are you doing okay?
When he returned to school, he thought about becoming a doctor, but the idea didn't click.
I thought maybe I'll be a nurse. I loved all of my nurses, and I loved getting to spend time with them. Because I mean, when you're going through chemo and you're sitting there for 6 to 8 hours, you see them the most. Like, they're the ones who are with you when you're going through this.
That first nurse practitioner became his caregiver and discovered cancer a second time, thyroid cancer, cured with surgery.
Just the fact that she was there for it all, and she showed me that she cared and that she was willing to go that extra mile, just really impacted me and made me know that I want to be a nurse, that I want to be a nurse practitioner, and I want to be like her.
When Dalton's classes brought him to the oncology floor at Seidman Cancer Center,
Hello, how's it going? How you doing?
he felt his calling. While he doesn't always share his story with patients, he can certainly relate.
Being able to provide the care that other people might not have known that I needed when I was sick, or like being able to provide the care for them that I wasn't able to provide for myself when I was sick.
He's able to provide practical advice from a survivor standpoint and knows being an oncology nurse is where he's meant to be.
Being able to be there with my patients in the moments of diagnosis, it is an honor and a privilege that I think I will forever be grateful for.
Dalton graduates next week. He'll take his boards and begin officially working at Seidman Cancer Center this summer. Then he plans to go back to school and become a nurse practitioner. All right, moving on. It is not unusual for businesses to be multi-generational, but at Hillcrest Hospital, there are 5 nurses who share a very unique connection, all born a decade apart.
Is your procedure here?
Tony Zito, born in '59, a nurse 40 years.
No sense of calling it quits. Still feel like I can contribute to the profession. I still love what I do every day.
Gianna Costley, born in '99, just graduated from nursing school and even teaches the older nurses a thing or two.
They've helped a lot during nursing school. Like if I have a question, I can go to any of them, they'll answer. And it's cool because sometimes I feel like I teach them because they change like wordings on things.
5 nurses born 10 years apart all work at Hillcrest Hospital's perioperative unit, taking care of patients before, during, and after surgery. The team sees about 60 patients a day. The range in ages, a benefit.
Our patients are different ages also, so I think we can relate to everybody because we work right next to the younger folks and the older folks.
And I appreciate the people that are above me because I use them to go to say, hey, what is this? Have you seen something like this before? Do you have experience in this? And then I use someone that's a little bit younger than me to come and say, you're really good at the computer. Can you show me what the technology is?
So ahead of me, I think they just have so much experience and wisdom when it comes to nursing. And below me, I think, like everyone says, there's so much to learn from them.
Despite the decades in age, each nurse carries a common bond, the calling for compassion and care, and each has something to teach. Even Tony learned.
We weren't always empowered to speak up or taught to speak up. And they told me to ask for what we wanted. And you know what? It's not like I didn't ask, but I never thought. And they said the worst they could say is no.
What's the most important lesson she hopes they learned from her?
I hope I taught them to treat the patient like their family. And on our worst day, we're not laying on a cart or a bed here. And it's a privilege to take care of those people.
Proof that you can be a mentor at any age. Now, Gianna doesn't know if she's going back. She graduated this week, and she's not sure if she's going to go back to the perioperative unit, but you never can say never. Also, the 5 are among 18 nurses in that perioperative unit. All right, still ahead, the efforts to boost the population of nurses starts when students are young, what a local hospital is doing to ensure the future graduates work for them. And later, even princesses can be nurses, how they're bringing joy to children during dark times.
It's that selfless selfishness where it feels good to help people. And so you get something by giving.
And we hear that sentiment quite a bit from nurses. And it is no secret, we all know that Cleveland is a medical mecca, and a lot of people come here to practice medicine and also get into the nursing field. But there is a program that Cleveland Clinic is doing that offers high schoolers who want to be nurses, to aspire to actually just go into healthcare, a program. And the program focus, it gives students more opportunities and making nursing more diverse.
He's gonna live. The Aspire Nurse Scholars Program is an enrichment program for high school students. Created by Cleveland Clinic and sponsored by the Howley Foundation, the program selects high school juniors interested in pursuing careers in the healthcare field.
It is our job to help them fine-tune and decide if this is really what they want to do, and then help remove those barriers.
Aspire aims to help in adding more diversity to nursing ranks by giving students more experience at world-renowned Cleveland Clinic.
We are taking students from our own community and teaching them early on to be the caregivers that Cleveland Clinic wants them to be.
The Pipeline program began in 2017. Through partnership with Tri-C and Ursuline colleges, students like Natalie Mendez can earn their bachelor's degree while training in the program with an added bonus, a college scholarship.
Once we transferred into our first semester of college, that's when we were expected to start working at the hospital. So that's like what helped me. It was just being able to have like all of the skills.
Proof of Aspire's success is Ayanna Lewis.
When you directly fund a program like this, you kind of invest in the community.
She is one of the first 5 graduates of the program.
The tutoring, the stipends, the mental support, they also provided like counseling. You need all those things to make it through nursing school.
Now, Ayanna is a coronary ICU nurse at Cleveland Clinic.
I am my community. When you help me, I help my community.
Carmen Blackwell, 3 News.
And that is such an important factor. Of course, Ayanna, one of 5 graduates. 2 more are about to graduate this year. And the program is expecting its grads in 2024, which will be the first group of Ursuline scholars. And the Aspire program is already recruiting for its 8th core, which will start in spring of 2024. So that is just one way to get more nurses into the field. And in case you were wondering, we're coming to you from Case Western Reserve University's Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing here in the Sampson building. And joining me now is Dean Carol Musil. Thank you so much for being here and letting us come into your world.
Monica, it's great to have you here. Thank you for coming and sharing with the world the great things we have happening here.
I think there's a lot of things people need to know, because one of the biggest pushes, you have 99 graduates this year, and we're trying to get more people interested in nursing and get more people into the field. But what does the nurse of the future need to know now that the nurse of the past really didn't need to?
Well, I think it's really important for the general public to understand that nurses have a broad liberal arts background, and nursing is actually considered a STEM discipline. So you need to have a good foundation in science and in math. But what do nurses need to know for the future? As things become much more complex, as you can see from some of the segments you've had, there's so much technology that is at play here. Artificial intelligence is likely to become more and more important. So an openness to those possibilities and finding ways to incorporate them. But at the same time, it's really important that nurses do not lose their focus on the humanity piece. So nurses really are very unique in their capabilities.
I think there's a huge misconception also. People always think that nurses have to deal with patients. You are a nurse scientist. You also have a PhD. Can you talk about the different advancements that nurses can go through?
Certainly. So the most common basic preparation for a nurse today is a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and that's usually a 4-year degree. But we also have a number of nurses who are now coming in after they've received a degree in a different discipline and doing a 2-year program and getting a degree and continuing on. I think most people are familiar now with nurse practitioners, nurse midwives. Those are people who have a master's or a doctor of nursing practice degree. There's nurse anesthetists who all have doctor of nursing practice degrees. And then on top of that, there's an important, and I'll tell you, we really need to have more of them, cadre of PhD prepared nurses who are able to develop the science that is so critical to helping nurses and others to find ways to help people regain health.
And those are great points. So just an idea of how many different ways someone can become a nurse. Dean Musil, thank you so much. Still ahead, we already know our nurses are superheroes, but did you know they can also be princesses? That story when we return. Welcome back. This week we have been honored to celebrate the love and the dedication, the men and women who care for others on a regular basis. Our Brianna Dahlquist tells us about nurses at Rainbow Babies Children's Hospital that not only care for their patients, but also give them a magical surprise.
For some, today might seem like just another ordinary day. But for these nurses at Rainbow Baby and Children's Hospital, it's days like this that they always hold near to their hearts.
Thank you for letting us come in here and see you. My name's Snow White. It's nice to meet you.
For almost a year, pediatric OR nurse Chloe Zebrak has been spreading joy and sparking hope through the organization Princesses Against Cancer.
It's always exciting when the little kids run up to you and they're like, "You're my favorite princess," or say something about, how they love reading your stories before bed, and so I always love that.
Princesses Against Cancer is a nonprofit that helps to bring smiles to children battling various illnesses. Although getting into princess character was nerve-wracking at first, Zebrak says it's the smiles that make it all worth it.
Once you get dressed up and everything, it's the kids that make it all worth it, and you want to do it again and again.
And when OR nurse Marissa Robichak heard from Chloe about the incredible organization, she joined immediately.
I asked her what she had done this weekend, and she said that she volunteered with Princesses Against Cancer, was telling me all about it and the event that she did and the role that she played. And I was like, that sounds amazing. It sounds like so much fun and such a good cause.
A good cause that inspires hope in a child's darkest hour. On this National Nurses Week, their hard work, dedication, and compassion is getting the attention of Duncan.
We know that America runs on Duncan, and I know you girls have been going above and beyond for all of your patients, just really putting a smile on their faces. So we just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Brianna Dahlquist, 3 News.
Well, before we go, we asked you to send us a shout out to your favorite nurse. Take a look.
We love our job at the Echelon of Medina, and we want to thank our nurse, Bob.
I would just like to take this time to thank my cousin Susan. She's a tremendous nurse. She's been doing it for years now, and she definitely deserves our prayers and admiration. Love you, Sue.
Thank you for everyone who sent us in our pictures and the video thanking a nurse. After 25 years of covering medical here in Cleveland, from a personal standpoint and from a professional standpoint, I want to personally thank every nurse who has touched my life. Have a great night, everybody.